all sorts of medicines and therapies. So we are speaking about the prognosis, right? We are speaking about the prognosis or easy curability of a disease. If you have a disease, how will you understand if it is easily curable? Is the question. You see, the first criteria the text is going to speak is not about the disease. Do you listen to that? What the text is saying? The text is speaking about the tolerance of the body. You understand? So, curability of a disease in Ayurveda is, of course, it's coming to the disease later. After 2 lines, it comes to the disease, but is not primarily dependent on the severity of the disease originally. It is primarily the capability of the person to cure the disease. So I will say, people ask me, do you treat cancer? I say, I don't treat cancer. I do treat the people who come here. They may have cancer sometimes. You understand? I have treated people who have been diagnosed with the disease cancer, but I am not treating. Why to treat? You're giving a treat. I don't treat a cancer. I give a treat to the person. You understand? So, Ayurveda, bit more precisely, will primarily treat even the digestive fire of the person, to be a bit more precise. Our treatment is for the fire. And we find the digestive fire as the root of your very existence. Does it make sense what I am telling? So it doesn't matter whether a person has a cancer, somebody has a degenerative brain disease, and all these things is secondary. Is the person open to treatment or not? It's not only body but also the mind.
What's the name of demons?
Munda.
In
Somewhere, yeah.
Fulaki.
അവിടെ വർത്താനം പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികളോട് വരാൻ പറയും, ഇരിക്കാൻ പറയും, വിളിച്ചു പട്ടത്തിലൊക്കെ ഇരിക്കാൻ പറയും. So the point is, we are treating the person, and if the person is receptive, if the person is open, if the person is tolerant, so very recently a person was afraid of taking ghee, right? So ghee, according to Ayurveda, is one of the most supreme substances to consume in right quantity. Of course, we are going to give it therapeutically, so there's a dose and it's monitoring. But a person can be afraid of taking ghee and may not be afraid of taking cheese. That's a controversy, irony of life. So being receptive and open, of course, the body but also the mind is the first criteria. but I have also seen practically, if the person has the will, the person has the will, no disease is a problem. It is the person who decide. It might sound a little bit unscientific what I am stating, but I am stating it out of my experience. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? If it's impossible for a person to go ahead without addressing a disease, it's inevitable, then a healing naturally happens, right? Healing naturally happens. Tathastu. So the first criteria in deciding the curability of a disease is the tolerance or the capacity of the person who has the disease. And nothing is impossible. You have to ask a question: who has created disease? Who has created the disease? Has a bacteria created disease or a virus created disease? Yeah, it is your own creation. It's your own baby. It's your own decision, right? It's your own defense originally. When you look at any disease, every disease is the defense of you. It's a defense towards any challenging situation. Any challenging situation. And the cause can be physical, cause can be chemical, cause can be biological, cause can be emotional, cause can be spiritual, right? Cause can be climatic, social, something which was challenging you, disturbing you, you react, right? You respond in terms of a disease. So you eat something bad, the best thing is to vomit, right? If you are sure that if you have eaten something really, really bad, the best thing what you can do is to vomit, right? So if you really look into these kinds of defenses or reactions, they even, you cannot, of course it is dis-ease because you lose your easiness. Of course the reaction that you made produced some uneasiness, some discomfort. That is the only thing. But who makes it is you, and there is a reason why you do it, and it's a wise decision. Always, every disease is a wise decision made by you. And the only person who can unlock this is you. Right? So, the curability is purely based whether you are open for that, Hmm. Whether you feel ready for it, whether you are tolerant to it. Hmm. Otherwise, you might feel intolerant, resistant, not open, not ready for healing, right? So, people who are extremely sensitive and allergic, even to medicines, will fall into the category who are difficult to treat, right? So, there are people who get skin rashes when you take curcuma. So, usually curcuma is used to treat skin allergies and skin problems, right? So, there are people who develop skin rash when they take curcuma, right? So, the whole reaction is a little bit strange. Maybe then you have to give some cheese. That might help. So, the first criteria is the tolerance, openness of the person. Sarva aushadha kshame dehe, right? So, if a person is open and acceptance, the acceptance, the tolerance, the openness of the person towards any sort of remedies or medicines. Hmm. And the next criteria is a little bit unkind. It is yuna. Yuna means youth or young. Hmm. So, if the person who is sick is young, again the prognosis is better, right? If the affected person, if is young, not an old person, then it is easily curable, right? That again tells you that it is not the disease which matters, but rather the strength of the person, right?
Yuna means young.
Yeah, Yuva or Yuna means a person who is young. Yeah. And the next word is going to be anti-feministic. All the feminists will stand up now. Pumsa. Pumsa means man. If the affected person is a man compared to woman, there is easy prognosis according to Ayurveda.
No, that's funny because for many years, 51% of the babies is male and 49 is female. And after 3 years, it's 50-50. So in the first years, we lose a few men.
Hmm.
It's a contradiction.
Hmm.
So like young babies, when they are girls, have a better prognosis than
For
young
for
boys.
for what? What we have to really look into what is the study, what is the condition you are speaking about.
It was 51-49. Just how many boy babies are born and how many girl babies
Uh-huh.
are born. And after a few years, how many of them survived, then it has become 50-50. So we have
What was the inclusion criteria? What was the exclusion? Because it's quite a thing to state this. You see, I will tell you the scientific basis of physical scientific basis of why masculinity has a high prognosis. I will tell you. You can just Google. You Google any physiological value, right? You look at what is the normal red blood cell count in females, what is the normal red blood count in males. You just count any physiological value. It is the normal range in males is going to be a bit higher than in females, right? So even bone density, even more, even to an extent, you just Google it. It's an anatomical and physiological factor. Even
And that men die earlier than women.
no, this is also the it's this is what I'm telling. Like when you make a statement like that, I will tell you another simple data, the simplest data. You go to any hospital, the patient population over 70% is female. You go to any hospital, it's not only in Ayurveda. You
Still, women
uh-huh.
get older.
Yeah, this is all the thing. This is all general statement when you are making. What is the inclusion criteria? What is the exclusion criteria, etc. We have to look. When you say women get older, what is the inclusion criteria? Which woman? When you make statements demographically, you have to look at the race. What were the men doing? What was the female doing? You understand? So it's very natural that man can die earlier in the older uh, scenarios, because probably in your parents' generation, if you look, man was working, women was housewives, naturally, right? So men were working physically, and female were working a little bit more on the background. huh? So if you are comparing that to populations, there's no comparison of what we are speaking about. So we have to really look into what is the inclusion criteria, what is the exclusion criteria. And I said you, like, this is going to be a hot topic, but somehow it is being documented like this in the classics of Ayurveda. You can also search a few, uh, few common searches. So, of course, when it comes to modern demographics or modern statistics, for every disease, there are few diseases which are feminine, there are few diseases which are masculine, right? So, when they speak about, for example, uh, of multiple sclerosis or certain diseases, it's affecting more females at a specific age, a reproductive age. So there is a certain diseases are happening at specific age also. So when we speak about curability, lifespan, etc., we have to look at the inclusion criteria, the exclusion criteria, etc. But in general, when you look at the anatomical and physiological parameters of human anatomy and physiology, you will see that man naturally was a little bit made for hard, hard bones. Even when you study forensic medicine, if you identify a skull, unidentified skull, or a bone, density, more dense bones are masculine, lighter bones are feminine, right? Of course, you also know that anatomical and physiofunctional parameters, masculine has a predominance. But of course, there are other areas where female has its strength. And also the fact that female is going through a monthly variation of 4 phases of ovulation or menstruation, which is also affecting the whole body. It's not only affecting the uterus or the ovary, it's also affecting the bone, it's also affecting the mind, it's affecting everywhere, right? Different phases of menstruation. That also makes female vulnerable, right? So somehow, as I said, it's a hot topic, which we can keep it open. According to the text, let us say, we can also transform it like this. Any person who is again having a little bit more of a less sensitivity or less stable mind and body is easily curable, right? Let it be man or woman. So, people with gentle mind or weak mind, weak body is not a easily curability, and people with strong body and strong mind are easily curable. Let us put that into the current data, because for some strange reasons, some men in the modern generation try to look like women, and some women try to look like men also, from some strange reasons, right? So somehow it's coming to a unisex soon. So next is jitatmana. Next criteria is jitatmana. Jitatmana means self-controlled, right? Self-control. Amaril is going to speak about why self-control is important in terms of curability. Yes.
It is extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
Uh-huh.
if you don't, then you can very easily so having a strong mind would be very conducive to you be able to keep the balance. Often, from my perspective, cognitive
Yeah. So it's all about, because life is all about withstanding the temptations, right? Very interestingly, the world is made such that we always has a temptation for unhealthy things. That is an irony of the whole thing. We can end somewhere. It end. We just check here.